another episode of Tribe Talks, and this one is with Sandhya Shivakumar yet again. She's a clinical psychologist and a specialist in digital screen time. So, Sandhya, I know we were talking about parenting some time back. Wanted to check, how do you think parents' expectations have changed at this digital age?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely different. I'm not sure if it's for the better or worse because we do have a lot more information about parenting and what it does to your brain and things like that. So I think parenting is a lot more informed. Although I can sense many times that when we want to do things differently, a previous generation, like say my own parents or maybe even yours, may feel like, oh, so like didn't I get it right? That sort of
guilt
is there. Yeah, that's definitely there. But other than that, in terms of raising children, I think that information, same aspect of information, can be considered even a bit of an overload, where there is a lot of, say, comparison, or there is, say, overexposure to things which parents can like take it slow. I think it creates a lot of anxiety. So parents' expectation is like, is my child doing this right? I mean, I'm sure that
I think that anxiety also gets on to the child, right? I feel like these days children are so anxious all the time, so nervous all the time. I don't think we grew up with so much anxiety at all in the first place, right? Yeah.
Right from something as little as, like, say, developmental milestones. Are they doing it at the right age? Is this enough?
Yeah.
And so you have a toy for everything.
Yeah.
So I think, and also after a point, the person is not looking at the child for who they are. Instead, it becomes about
the ideal.
What they're supposed to do. Are you doing that?
Yes.
So it gets a bit competitive even growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. So this brings to my next question, which is, how do you think over comparison and constantly overexposure, there's so much of overexposure now, how does that affect the self-worth of a child?
To a great extent, definitely, because we are all having that self-esteem and that sense of self-image and everything growing up, mainly drawing from people around us. No child will say, to hell with you, this is who I am. No.
Correct.
Or no child will be submissive entirely by nature. So if you explore, say, adult clients, when you have sessions with them, you realize how different they were as children and how much of social conditioning and the environmental impact has on them to kind of shape them into who they become. So that's what I keep telling people, that parenting today is not about saying you were wrong and we are right or nothing. We just know more. We know that the brain absorbs this sort of information.
Just being informed, actually.
Exactly. So if that's what it absorbs and that's what is going to give you, like, say, a sense of healthy development, let's give it the best shot.
Correct.
Right? So overexposure can definitely help. Like, if you reduce it, it can help in looking at the child for who she or he is, and saying, okay, if this is what you want to do, this is how you want to do it, so be it. And that way they also feel like their sense of individuality and that their sense of, like, say, preferences, likes, dislikes are respected.
Exactly.
I've noticed that in adult clients especially, that if they had a voice and that voice was never heard, naturally your brain shuts off. It doesn't want to have the voice anymore.
They freeze, or they end up, they are a high flight risk. It happens. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is where empathy comes in, a lot of compassion comes in. So now, another thing that I wanted to ask you is, how do you think parents can help their children set healthy tech boundaries with empathy instead of guilting them? Of course, like we discussed earlier, there's a lot of guilt that parents carry, and hence they kind of project it onto the children. So without that anxiety of, oh my God, I'm using so much phone, instead of that, can it be a little more productive? Can it be done a little more empathetically and compassionately?
Yeah, I think first, before doing that to the child, they have to do it to themselves. In the sense that I think parents give gadgets as a way of making the child happy. Because of their lack of availability.
Absolutely.
And let's say someone else is caregiving. So they say, oh, if this is going to make you happy, these extra few minutes or whatever it is, this is what you
Yeah.
want to watch, this is how much you want to watch. So that guilt shouldn't be overcompensated as extra screen time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And number two, if you are going to take away your screen, I mean the child's screen, after discussion or whatever,
Yeah.
and the child is acting out, they have to develop the distress tolerance for their child's distress,
Yeah.
right? Most of the time, it's about helping themselves. It's like, okay, you know what?
I want to avoid this. Yeah.
I can't deal with this right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So here you go. And then they just,
Yeah.
do their thing and then say, oh, he doesn't listen. She's just been sitting on it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't get yourself to be
Having that
whatever.
conversation. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even if you did, it's like you have to accept that turning it off is upsetting for them and that it's okay. So you spend a few minutes there to validate and help them regulate and redirect their attention and everything like that. Move to the next activity. You're not miserably failing as a parent just because
they're sad or
yeah, exactly. So I think these couple of things for parents are very critical learning.
Yeah.
And when it comes to boundaries, it's not what the child sets, it's actually what the parents said. But what happens is parents, I think, misunderstand the concept of boundary. I feel what works for the child, they are okay to let be, right?
Yeah.
But what actually boundary is how much are you willing to deal with? Like if so, let's say you do not accept XYZ, then you have to let them know that, hey,
this is unacceptable.
This, or this is what we can do. That's the boundary you are setting, which the child has to follow.
Absolutely.
Of course, not like, and from a very strict punitive point of view, not from that, but the things that you can recognize are healthy, but don't have to beat yourself up for having set them.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I think, especially with tech, so like in the younger days when you're saying somebody's watching XYZ cartoon, whatever, in school they're all talking and everything. I read something very similar when the child said this to a parent. I don't remember celebrity, but the celebrity said something very reasonable. They said, okay, your friends can be doing all of this. Just show me one research paper that says social media is good for a little kid. I'll give it to you. No problem.
Yeah.
Valid. Totally valid. So you just need to know how to speak. Right?
No, it actually builds a lot of skills also for the children. I think it makes it a lot better. It makes it challenging for them as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you.